This is Tony Chimmel, and I'd like to introduce the hosts of the Game Marks podcast, George Feis and Johnny Clash.
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast, where each and every week we take a deep dive into the good, the bad, and the awesome of all things video games. My name is George Feis.
And I'm the man they call Johnny Clash, and today we are playing Brawlers in the Epic Store in Prime Gaming, and we also discuss our most tragic video game moments and a whole lot more.
Oh man, and as always, guys, please make sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you choose to listen to your podcast. And make sure to follow along on all forms of social media at Game Marks Pod. And don't forget, you can get early and ad-free versions of this podcast over on our Patreon, patreon.com/podexchange. It's PODXCHANGE. And you also get access to show notes, exclusive shows, Discord, live recordings, giveaways, and a whole lot more from us and the other shows. Part of Pod Exchange, It's Going Postal, and State of Affairs. Johnny Clash, man.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. We both said before we started that we're both kind of wiped. But, you know, there's just something about doing the podcast that wakes me up. I don't know if it's just...
Wake me up.
Yeah, maybe it's the promise of a little evanescence. Maybe it's that. But let's do a little follow-up, man. We played Jurassic Park. It was your birthday game. I think the general assumption, the general response from this game, hell, even Dylan said it on Going Postal. Everyone knows that game, has played that game, and it is widely regarded as one of the harder games from that generation. And yeah, how you feeling about it?
It was just so good. So much fun to just go back and play it. I am a Jurassic Park nut, pretty much. So just give me literally, as you saw, I don't know how to pronounce the dinosaurs' names, but give me literally everything from those movies and just inject them into me. The one I haven't seen is the very last Jurassic World, because I caught glimpses of it on the TV and it looked so bad, but I will go back and do it.
I think I'm current. I might not be, but I think I am.
I know. I think Grant and all them come back for it, so it piques my interest. But I am in like no rush. It's not going to go anywhere.
Oh yeah, and they're coming out with like 3 more of them. It's
keep them going as long as they're good. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm very excited. Another year, another set of birthday episodes for me and you. But we know as soon as our birthdays hit, like you said, I think a few weeks ago, it's the anniversary of the show. It's your birthday. It's my birthday. And that leads us right into Game-Bury. Our favorite time of year, our time of year to give back. George, do you want to tell the people what's happening this year?
Oh, guys, like John said, it is that time of year once again. It is time for your boys, the Game Marks podcast, to give back this holiday season. And this time, it's Game-Bury 2024.
That's right. Last year, 2023, we raised $1,500. And in 2022, we raised $2,500 for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And we hope this year we're going to lay the smackdown on those numbers.
And you may be asking yourself, how does this whole thing work? Well, every year, John and I try to make this thing even better and more simplified. So the easiest way to get involved is to join us on our live streams. Every single Wednesday, we will be streaming on our YouTube channel and on Twitch at Game Marks Pod. And new this year, Johnny Clash will be simul streaming at the same time on his Twitch channel.
Live from Nitro. I mean, my Twitch.
Johnny Clash TTV. Make sure to check out both. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, and we hope that you will join us.
And if you want more information on how to donate and join the cause, head to GameMarksPod.com/donate or check the links on our social media because it's all there. Also, this is going to run from November 13th, that's this Wednesday, guys, all the way to January 5th when it culminates at Game Marks Mania, our mega stream.
And as we say every year, It's Gamebury 2024. It's time to step up, do good, and make a difference.
Hell yeah. And I guess this only happened a little while ago. We got some sponsors finally, and that is returning the Secret Levels podcast. Great dudes. Great
to
video
have them
game.
Back for another year.
Yeah, another video game podcast. They're possibly going to be joining us for some episodes and some games.
That sounds great. Would love that.
A lot of fun. And of course, Collect Major. We know them. Everybody knows them. We're going to have some bendies to give away. We're going to have some big rubber guys to give away. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, we have some swag, some limited edition stuff that we like to give out this time of year that we'll be giving out on the streams. And, I have some Steam codes for Retromania.
Oh, hey, look at that. Now, as always, we're going to jump into it, I guess now. Is that are we good? Is it time for us to take the deep dive into this week's game? Are you ready to get into Brawlers?
Into the crypto world. George, this one's let's just do it.
It's surprising.
Looking to add the newest wrestling figures to your lineup? There's no better spot to pick up your next figure than the Wrestling Collector Shop.
Started by collectors for collectors around the globe, Wrestling Collector Shop has been serving the fans the latest and greatest in wrestling action figures since 2002. So the next time you're looking for the newest wrestling collectible to add to your collection, make sure to go to WrestlingCollectorShop.com and use code GameMarks to save yourself 10% on your order.
That's 10% off your order with code GameMarks at WrestlingCollectorShop.com.
All right, as always, the deep dive is brought to you by our friends over at Wrestling Collector Shop. Use code GameMarks to save yourself 10% over at WrestlingCollectorShop.com. Now, courtesy of our friends over at Wrestling Collector Shop, we give away a figure every episode. And if you left us a review, you were entered into the contest for a Bailey figure. Johnny Clash, who won that Bailey figure?
This week's winner is Manny Manharis, and he said, awesome episode. I'd like there to be an open world Jurassic Park game. That would be amazing. Well, Manny, Jurassic Park Survival is coming out in 2025. Maybe it's open world, but it's going to be pretty cool. Regardless, enjoy your Bailey figure. Actually, I just sent you out a figure, so you're doing well here with these figures there, Manny.
There we go.
But that is going to be the last giveaway for the time being on the episode, because the rest are going to be done live during Gamebury. So join us, like we just said, on Twitch and YouTube every Wednesday through the beginning of January. So you know where to find us. And win some figures from Wrestling Collector Shop. Now, George, take it away.
All right, Brawlers released 10/17/2023. That's October 17th, 2023. We just hit the year mark.
Yep. Had this one marked for a while.
Released on Epic Games, Prime Gaming, and iOS. Developed by Toronto Studios, published by Toronto Studios, and made in Unity. Now, this is a new virtual wrestling experience that combines a little bit of action figures, a little bit of card play, and some crypto blockchain stuff. I really don't.
All right, I'm gonna kick open the screen here. We're gonna do our playthrough and our whole just look through of this game live during the episode. So if you're looking for the YouTube version of the playthrough, it's going to be included with this episode right here.
So I think what we're going to do is, John, you'll take us through this gameplay, and I'll provide some commentary for those who may not be able to, in this moment, pause and join us for the video version. So I'll do my best to kind of paint the picture of what we're looking at here throughout the playthrough.
Well, there's not much, to be honest. So, all right. So here we got graphics. We got some volume. Nothing crazy here. So it's all run through Cloud Wallet, as you can see here. I made an account and all that. So didn't ask me to purchase anything yet.
Okay.
All right, so let's check. Let's
We've
start
got
with how to play.
loadouts, leaderboards, brawl, how to play, and shop.
Let's go through all of these, I guess. Let's first of all load out. This is pretty much your deck. So you have 3 cards on the left here. You have your name, blah, blah, blah. You could have up to 4 loadout slots. And then in your inventory here is your wrestlers. Now you could put them here in your deck, as you could see on the right side. And as you're playing, those are what get called up. Here you have your taunt cards, which give you a little boost, I guess. And then
these are mechanics that we've seen in other wrestling card games. You build a deck of superstars. You have your, sometimes they're called abilities, sometimes they're called and with ability cards, it can be a taunt, it could be a foreign object, it could be cutting a promo, it could be a number of different things.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly even what the complete set is in here. We have Mike Yellerbelly. That's our wrestler here. I'm looking right now. Tyranno Studios. What else do they make? Spin Tycoon, Music Mogul, and Brawlers. That's it. That's on their site.
Okay.
There could be more, I guess, in the past or something.
Let's say you can start taking us through. I'll look through and see if I can find anything else here.
I'm telling you, there's nothing crazy here. All right, we'll close this. There's a leaderboard. Mike is number 1. Homelander is number 2. Okay. Let's see. How many people? Top 100. So at least 100 people are playing this. That's more than can be said for a bunch of these indie wrestling games. So
I mean, hell,
cool.
there are some non-indie wrestling games that are struggling right now. It's an odd time for wrestling video games right now.
Wait, okay, so here's the test. Am I on this leaderboard? If I'm on this leaderboard from... Oh, look at that. I'm number 27. I played a couple matches. I am on the leaderboard.
Well, and it's updated every 30 minutes. Okay.
Let's get to the top of the leaderboard.
There you go.
The link will take you out of the app for the shop. I'm going to click it. I don't think you could see this right now, but...
Well...
Okay, so you could buy different wrestlers for their in-game, like, crypto. Okay. I don't like this smells a little funky, if you ask me.
Well, I mean, there's
Same thing. Wallet takes you to the same site. Cloud Wallet.
This is just a gaming store of a different variety.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it. Okay. No, wait. How do I get out here? I want to go to how to play. Close. So let's go through the walkthrough here.
There we go.
Okay, it takes you again to an outside link away from the game. It takes you to the instruction manual. There is a lot of stuff here.
It took you to the how to play at brawlers.gg or the wax.io.
Medium.com/blockchain brawlers /blockchain brawlers instruction manual dash E55D8A20D36.
I found it. It's gameplay explained.
You typed all that? Okay, great. Gameplay explained. No, it says brawlers instruction manual.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
So, let's brawl. Let's do a bot. Flexing is when you play your highest card first. So, at my first instinct, which by the way, game is beautiful.
I was going to say,
Graphics are
visually impressive from the get-go.
Yeah, like it's really nice. Now you select cards right away. So I'm going to select 2 cards to face up. I think it's a lot about bluffing what you have. So I'm going to do my 2 low cards first here.
So it's wrestling poker.
It's like poker blackjack mixed together. So I want to fool him into thinking mine are better than his, but they're not. I could fold, but I'm going to go with a 1 here. He went with a 2.
So visually, even though it is a card-based gameplay, the visuals for the character are very action figure-esque. I would say they're somewhere like a cel-shaded Hasbro.
Almost like Figure Fighters, the AEW game with
Yeah.
Hasbro-esque. Okay. All right. Round 2. Let's come at him with a 5 and a 4.
Okay, so visually now, the original match that we had done was kind of like a brick, like a brick, I don't know, circular brick wall, almost like a brick retaining wall that had stage lighting around it. Now we are fighting on a platform in the mountains, and yet there is still lovely stage arena lighting above the ring. I will say, environmentally though, it's a really like cool visually. I think they nailed it, and I think conceptually making the gameplay poker based is interesting. It's definitely a different approach than we've seen in other
Ooh,
card
they matched
games.
me. They're probably going to win. Oh, wow. They hit me with an 8. I only had a 6 and a 3. I do like the concept of it. The game itself is
low blow.
The game itself is slow, but I will say it's the most well put together card based game I feel like we've played in a while.
It is. I think I am more surprised, and I mean I thought this to myself, and I can't remember if I had mentioned to you when we were putting doing our research, but when you brought it up last week, I think even after the episode, I had mentioned like, wow, this is not the visuals that I expected to see for a card game.
No, it's very nice. I mean, Unity, we know what Unity could do, and use Unity.
And it's just, it's, there's little particle effects that happen. There's the backgrounds have almost like a parallax.
What I like, I think, is the game is a complete package. Like when you first look at it and everything. So you look at it in the Epic Store, everything's cohesive. Everything looks well polished. The graphics look great. The screenshots look great. And all that. Then you go onto their Twitter, onto everything else, and it all is just the same. Everything's in line. The marketing is great. The brand identity is right there. And then you go in the game and it's the same stuff you're seeing. Like there's no false advertising here.
Yeah, and I think that visually, gameplay mechanic wise, I mean, would it have been nice to have some kind of tutorial built into the game? Yeah, probably. Just have that web page open up within the game. But listen, there's limitations for everything. I'm sure that there's a reason that it was done this way. But
there's some cute little crowd noises.
Graphically, and from the standpoint of having this game be a card game, I feel like that's going to be the thing that I focus on the most. Visually, this is not the typical presentation of a card game. Either you have stills or you get the 3D renderings like we've seen in other games in the past where there's not full motion. Like these are full animations that you're getting. And it's not full animations like you get in, say, something like Supercard, where it's the flat, the front and back of the card that are mimicking the moves.
Oh, I got him here. We're in round 7 already. I don't really know how many rounds there are, to be honest, or where the health meter is. I assume maybe it's the 1 and the 15 down below.
Yes, I believe so.
So I'm about to die. I'm about to lose.
Well, I think you actually won here. I think you just won.
They have -9.
Yeah, I think you just won here.
For the pin. A very awkward looking pin.
And that's it.
Hey, I won. Yeah, I moved up in the leaderboard.
There you go. Oh, the confetti rains down.
Oh, look at that. Winner. With some really bad tracking in the letters.
For Johnny Clash.
All right, so what do I... No rewards.
No rewards.
Okay. Great. Cool. So I'm wondering like what other cards you can get. I want to go check that store again.
Okay.
So leaderboard.
Leaderboard, you were what, 24? 27?
Oh, I guess maybe these only count online wins.
Oh, maybe.
Should we see if someone's online? No, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. I don't have anyone. What are we saying here?
What's worse happens?
I lose my rank. And the story here. All right. There's a lot of characters you could buy. There's some backgrounds, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Don't know why you would need that. Some card backs, okay. A la like Marvel Snap.
Backgrounds, are they what act as arenas? Potentially?
I actually don't know what these are. They're called Brawls. BRWL? Is that what that is? Potentially, I want to say, because one's like a barbell, but they don't show like an arena, so maybe it is that. Looks like you can get some like wearables. The Stan Hansen looking fella. A 2-year anniversary badge.
Oh.
Yeah, so this game has been on my radar for a while because I frequently browse the Epic Games free section. And this has been there for a year, so I put it on my list, and finally we're here. But it just so happens now we're also at the point where the iOS beta has been released as well. So if you want to go ahead on over to their Twitter account, check out Brawlers, Blockchain Brawlers, whatever it is. I'm not sure. It's the first one that comes up. They have a link to the test flight, and you could jump on in there that way. Now,
yeah, it's under both. It's under Blockchain Brawlers and just Brawlers.
Yeah, I feel like Blockchain Brawlers might turn some people away. The whole NFT thing might turn some people away.
Or
if I'm ranked 27, I'm not sure how many people are actually playing this game. I downloaded it a couple days ago.
People may just also not, they might not, what's the word?
Know it exists?
No, like the term blockchain, if you're not in that world of NFTs and all that stuff, like you may not know, like they just might think blockchain is a gaming term or something that's relevant to the game itself and not actually something that's giving a better explanation. Like I would assume that not everyone is familiar with blockchain and NFTs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really on board with that stuff. Other people may have different opinions, and I'm not going to really get into that, but I'm not into it. But at least this game does start you out with 8 deck cards: an attack, a finisher, a taunt, and 1 brawler card. Now, it's a little confusing how to use them. Like we said, the how-to page is just a web page. It takes you with a whole bunch of text, and you just have to read every line. It's like a Monopoly 1949 whatever booklet that you have to go through. And, you know, maybe a little in-game tutorial would be the best thing here. So hopefully one day they decide to add that. I'm curious. I'm going to download this on iOS and see if it's similar or how that works.
Yeah, I gotta say, from the presentation, from how the overall aesthetics of the game look, I was very surprised. I mean, we've seen not only with wrestling games, not only with card games, just in the general gaming world as a whole, we've seen countless times where screenshots, promos, teasers set a certain level of standard for a game and technically may not match up to that. And this was more or less a one-to-one. What you saw in the screenshots, what you saw in the advertising and in the promotional material was exactly what you got, which was it was a nice surprise. Not every company does that, especially when it comes to, I don't know, non-AAA titles, stuff like that. You always have high hopes. You hope that the game that's been presented is the game that you're going to play, and it's nice when it works out that way.
Yeah. Actually, I want to take a quick break here, and then I want to break down the graphics in great detail.
Let's do it.
All right, George. So I kind of said before. I like the brand identity here. I like how everything's cohesive. You go from one screen to the next. You feel like you're in the same game. I feel like everything from the logos, even the Toronto logo, fits in well. And then you got the Brawlers logo with that beautiful modern B logo. I guess there's two B's, so that's where the blockchain Brawlers comes in.
Yep.
The menu screen is very easy to navigate. It's 5 things. It looks like one of the WWE 2K nav screens, which is cool. Everybody's familiar. It's only a few options here. Nothing crazy. When you first load in, it actually gives you the option of what graphics setting you want to play on. I was on Ultra, which is why the game freaked out a little bit earlier, because we're also on Riverside, and that likes to suck up every ounce of you, like stream.
Well, because there's a little bit, there's a little bit of everything. There's 3D graphics being rendered. There's particle effects. There's moving back. Like it's the same kind of thing that you would expect in, say, we always talk about Fortnite on here, but there's the same kind of thing. There's always particle effects and lighting elements, and how well you want the textures and the environments to look. And it's that same kind of thing where it's just like, hey, if you're going to play the game, settings have to be a certain way. If you're going to play and stream the game, you might want to adjust those settings.
Yeah, and I went to performance mode, and honestly, it was just as beautiful in performance mode than it was in Ultra. I mean, you saw some of the seams and stuff like that, but either way, they did a really nice job here making this game look incredible. I wish the marketing was just out there a little bit more and people knew about it and make this a big thing. I mean, Toronto Studios only has a little less than 6,000 followers on Twitter. I don't think it's that big of a thing. So
now, would you? We touched on it briefly in the beginning.
Brawlers has 46,000. So
figure wise, do you think that that's the best explanation, description of what the models look like? It's a little Hasbro, a little figure fighters from AEW, maybe a little bit of like those one-off multi-pack figures that you would get at like a flea market back in the day.
Oh yeah, I think it's a lot like, I don't want to say bootleg because they have their own unique style to them, but if you were to get like I don't know, I had this one figure that definitely came from like a dollar store growing up, and it reminds me very much of them. I would love to find that and figure out what it is, but God only knows.
No, but I think that's it. It's like those I think the proper term is the non-licensed wrestling figures, where you'll get
holy shit, I
action
found it
figures
already,
that look like current superstars, or it may be a wrestling figure that looks like a superhero in some way, and they're like, combining the two things to make one new product. And this is kind of like that, where it's like, the first person that we saw in that fight has the LOD shoulder pads with the spikes on it.
They always go for like recognizable.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost like you pay like homage to it, and then you also kind of tweak it in a way to make it your own. It's creative license a little bit. Yeah.
But they do a good job of also not making them exactly the wrestlers, so they could avoid all of those infringements. Like the Road Warriors here, if that's what you want to call them, has like a tiger head. There's ones with more of a generic head, but they have like a mustache, so they don't look like Hawk and Animal. I think it's just a great package here. I could just keep talking about the graphics here till the end of time because I just appreciate it and it looks so nice. But then you get to like the actual gameplay. Now, if this was just a regular game, let's take the new Pokemon trading card game that came out as an example. If this was a game where, say, every 12 hours or every 24 hours, you get to open a pack, you get new wrestlers rather than NFTs and crypto and all that BS, maybe more people would be playing this. Maybe it would be a bigger success and maybe be a little bit more fun. Now, I don't have those numbers in front of me of who's playing this, but judging by the leaderboard, it doesn't seem like that many. And I think it's a big turnoff having NFTs. I almost said NXT. NXT is a big turnoff. Well, and the crypto, the blockchain, all that stuff in here. But on the surface, like, it's a nice game. It's easy to play. Like, I didn't even look through the how-to. I just know poker and blackjack and all that, and I was able to pick it up and figure out what I was doing. Granted, I didn't really use like the taunt cards or the finisher cards, and it took me a while to figure out the HUD and all that with the health meter and everything. But I think it has potential. They hit 1 year. It was in beta for a while. We're now in version 1 point whatever. So it's a game. It's here. I would love to see how long it's going to be supported, and I hope it has a very lengthy life. And if you decide to check it out, you listening or watching, let us know. Let us know how you feel about it. Let us know if you've played it.
And I think the biggest factor for me is exactly what you had mentioned. We talked about it earlier, is the fact that it is a blackjack poker kind of trying to bait your opponent into like lulling them into a false sense of security and tricking them to thinking that you have a better hand than you actually do, which is a very unique approach to a wrestling card game, because usually it's just it ends up playing more like what's that? War is the card game where you each throw down a card and whoever has the higher card wins.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
War is the card game where you throw down, you and I would throw down a card, and if you have a higher card than I do, you win and you take that card. I feel like most of the time wrestling based card games play like that, where there's not like a full, you have a hand and you have a like an action card that you play, attached to that card. It's usually more like war. It's like I played an attack card, you played an attack card, but I have a higher attack card, so I do more damage. Or I play an attack card, you play a guard card, and you cancel out my attack. It's more like a 1-to-1 and less of a 2-card trying to trick your opponent or the computer into a false sense of security here.
It's a cool concept. I like it. I don't know. Got to see where it goes. Got to see how it develops.
I would say that I think is the most promising part about this game, is that it's only a year old. There's still plenty of time for it to grow and evolve and advance and become even more than what it is now. Should Toronto decide to move forward with it, and I think that it could potentially have a long life in front of it. And I think that the gameplay is unique, the graphic style is very unique, and that it is an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, well, did you know? Did you know? I don't have a did you know for this game.
There's no did you know.
But let's sit back. Let's relax. It's time for some R&R, some ratings and reviews. We don't have those either. Epic Games and Prime Gaming doesn't have.
So record scratches at the end of that is did you know, and then like the record scratch. There's no.
But what we can do is it's time to rate the games.
That we can do.
The game!
All right, Johnny Clash, I would like you to go first. Brawlers, blockchain brawlers, whatever you want to call it. What is your rating? Will you give it a play it forever? Or a future endeavor?
I don't want to say future endeavor because I do want to see where it goes. I'm going to watch it probably for the next year and see what happens. It's going to stay in my Epic library, but I'm going to remove it from my PC because I need the space. And
that's understandable. It's the same thing as like on an Xbox. If you need the space to make room for an update of another game or a different game to install, you got to do it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle here because I'm probably not going to play it again, but I also didn't hate it.
It could be one of those ones like we've both done it in the past. It could be on the line.
By technicality, it's a future endeavor. But I'm gonna keep an eye on it, and I'm gonna see what happens in the future. So that's that.
Okay.
Now, George, what say you? Play it forever. Future endeavor blockchain brawlers.
Now, separating the blockchain aspect of it, I do think mechanically the game is fun. It's very interesting to play. I don't know enough about blockchains, NFTs to have an opinion on that aspect, but I will say that the gameplay, the visual presentation of it was a very enjoyable experience. It is fun to play. For the recording that we're doing right now, it was fun to even watch. The animations are clean, even funny at sometimes with how some of the collision works with the character models, but not in a way that is game breaking in any way. The visuals, having it be action figure-esque, is something that is also very cool and something that we always appreciate on this podcast. And I think for that reason, I'm gonna give it a play it forever, with the caveat of kind of what you were saying is I want to see where the game goes. It's on the line. It's on that border of almost a play it forever, almost a future endeavor. I think that maybe the next update that happens for this game, whenever that may come, will be a little bit more telling of what the future of this game looks like. But I think that it has a bright future for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of potential.
Well said. I guess that remains to be seen. I like this company, and I think they do some good work. So let's see what happens.
Stunning visuals in the other games that they've made too.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is now time for our favorite segment of the week. It's time for the soft block.
The Soft Block is a segment on this podcast where one of our mega marks from our Patreon gives us a topic to discuss. It's a debate. It's a question of the week with a fancy name. This week, the question comes from the Elder Spork. And the Elder Spork's question is, what is your most tragic video game moment? Now, I have a question. So the full question that he had asked in our Discord was akin to Aerith in Final Fantasy.
Okay. See, I skipped the front part of his question because he was digging at the Yankees as a Boston fan. So I didn't want to put up with that shit. So
yeah, no, but he did mention Aerith's the Aerith moment in Final Fantasy VII, which I know that you don't understand. But I feel like we may have talked about something like this in the past, and I don't necessarily know if my answer is going to change. We're talking about storyline wise, right? Like most tragic storyline moments in a video game.
Is that what happened to the character? He said, like
that's the reference that he made. So I
would assume, yeah.
I believe in a past episode.
Well, he was relating it to the Yankees' fifth inning, okay, and that was pretty tragic. So yeah, go with that.
Okay, so you had said in a previous episode about Gears of War.
Dumb.
That was your reference, and I do believe that I had said The Last of Us 2 was mine.
Golf club?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to be as vague as I can, just in case spoilers. The game's been out for a little bit, okay? Even Final Fantasy VII, but I still don't want to spoil things for people. I will say, I think the one that I'm going with now, that just hits a little differently as I get older. Again, spoiler warnings for the first Insomniac Spider-Man game. The Aunt May scene from the first Insomniac Spider-Man game.
Hey, Spider-Man 2 is coming to PC in February.
Yes, it is. But man, that Aunt May scene in the first Spider-Man game is
Yeah, talk about beautiful games. That game was chef's kiss. Absolutely.
I think that
one of
might
the
be
only
part of
games
the
I've ever
reason.
100'd.
I think that might be part of the reason why it like is such like a moving scene. Like, yes, the story, the build up to all of that absolutely plays a part, but when the graphics of a game are super hyper realistic, it adds a little bit more gravitas to the moment.
Gravitas.
And I think that might be the mine for this take. So let's say that you can't use Dom from Gears of War. What's your number 2?
I think I want to say it was the intro to Death Stranding.
Oh,
It's like blurry to me. It's been a while. I don't really remember it, but I do remember it being emotional. I remember that whole game just being emotional. The soundtrack was beautiful, and like you're just walking around, but then all of a sudden, everything just starts happening. And
oh yeah,
what I gotta play that again too.
that whole game is just.
It's amazing. It's an amazing.
It's a very
game.
long story, but man, is it worth it? Like it was a very. I don't know what the best word to use. It was a journey.
It was a journey, emotional roller coaster.
Yes, it was an emotional roller coaster, and the game itself is very long to play, but it's a very rewarding story to complete.
Trek to Yomi also had a pretty sad ending if you do the right ending, or whatever ending you choose. There could be a pretty sad one. But I'll go back to Death Stranding a little bit. There's a book I read. I mentioned it probably a year or two ago called The Fisherman by John Langdon. It's a horror novel, but not in the way you think.
Okay.
He goes through the story. There's like I think it's like biblical references, which is something I'm not particularly like knowledgeable about or know about or whatever. But Death Stranding actually reminded me a lot of that. I highly suggest if you're into cool visuals in a book to check that book out, The Fisherman.
I like that. I feel like this is the second episode in a row that we've tied it back to a book that you've read. We talked about how you had read
Jurassic Park,
and now we're doing this. It's like we're bringing Clash and Burn.
Next week we'll talk about the Forgotten 500
into this. There we go. How can John tie in books into the video games and to the soft lock questions every
How
week?
could I tie in the 5 books I've read in the past 5 years?
Oh God. All right, John, with that, I think that we should ask everyone to let us know what their tragic video game moments are. I think that there's a lot there's a lot of great storylines that are written over the years. And there's a lot of great games that have these heart-wrenching moments in them. So let us know somewhere on the internet at Game Marks Pod. But John, would you like to know what we are playing to kick off the Gameboree live episodes in 2 weeks?
Yes, sir. What we got? Let me know.
We are playing Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 for the Nintendo 64.
Okay. Hell yeah. Great live episode.
That brings us to everything but one, John. Once we play Virtual VPW 2, it's everything but No Mercy.
Okay. That's crazy.
Man. That's wild. That's every N64 wrestling game except for one, which John said for the longest time he never wants to cover it on the podcast.
That's like...
It's either we never cover it or it's the last episode.
I told you what I want to do. Just Don't Stop Believing's playing. Like the end of The Sopranos.
Oh, yeah.
You start the intro, and then all of a sudden, don't stop, just black screen.
But it's dick diggity dog, and then it cuts off and it goes.
You never get that episode. Imagine assholes like that.
No, I never know. I wouldn't want to do that. That would be like an April Fool's. Good April Fool's episode.
Don't give away the secrets. All right.
All right, guys, as always, if you want to watch the video content that John and I make, you can do that over at youtube.com/GameMarksPodcast. We have the playthrough videos for all the episodes. We have GMP 64, GMP 24. That is a weekly show fantasy booking that we did in No Mercy and now in WWE 2K24. We have a ton of fun doing it. You can go to podexchange.shop for all of the merchandise for this show, Going Postal and State of Affairs. ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod for our shirts. Patreon.com/PodExchange. Again, PodXChange for access to the show notes, early and ad-free episodes, and exclusive content from all the Pod Exchange shows. At Game Marks Pod on all forms of social media. And as always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. And if you have a product or service that you'd like to advertise on this show, please reach out to us at GameMarksPod@gmail.com. John, it is starting to be the best time of the year for us. It is Game-Boree season. Whenever you're ready, sir, do that thing.
Game over. Marks.
Game Marks Podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast. How can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks Podcast every single Monday.